Well, we're putting the posts in for this garden shed. So we use the post hole digger on the tractor. And I had an attachment made to get it a little deeper because it would only go about 42, 44 inches in the ground, and I need it a little bit deeper because of the frost here. So I wanted to get 48 out of it. So I had a guy weld me up this, but you can see it's split. But as of right now, it's still working. And it does get it about 48 to 50 inches deep, which is perfect. So we're using tamarack logs coated with oil for the piers.
Get water where you get the water.
And we're gonna have 6 of them. They're all about 5.5 feet long. Again, coated in oil, especially the end grain on the bottom. So this will be elevated and hopefully won't rot for a very long time. Because these are all tamarack, they're naturally rot resistant a little bit. Anyway, and we have tons of them around here. All that yellow are tamaracks. So the shed is going to be about 18 by 10 or 12 feet. I haven't decided yet. Probably go bigger. I stole some lumber from our house build. I'll have to replace it. But anyway, 3 2x10s. And then I'll put floor joists between them. Rough cut lumber. I didn't want to use rough cut lumber for those only because I've stacked this and I didn't want to search through all that for 12 footers because I believe they're on the bottom. So I just stole some lumber from the house here. But anyway, I'm trying to find a bunch of rough cut, at least 2 by 8s, actual 2-inch rough cut lumber, and they have to be 10 feet long. So whatever I have, even some scrap boards that aren't exactly 8 inches wide, I'm using 2, like the live edge type boards. Just the top edge is going to be squared up. So scrounging around, finding that lumber through all my cutoffs from the posts for the house, the 8x8s. That big pile that you just saw covered up, and then I have this one. Use these up first because they're not covered up yet. Well, I have the 2 outside 2x10s squared up and even with each other. The middle one, because it's hard to dig a hole with the tractor post hole digger exactly where you want it, these front and back didn't turn out perfect. So this middle one is not square with the outside ones, which isn't a big deal. I just snapped the line across, cut the ends off, and then because it's a little crooked, the only thing that sucks is I have to measure every single floor joist because every single one's going to be different on either side. So that part's not ideal. But anyway, every 2 feet, I just snapped a line across so the floor joists will be in line with each other when I go to set the floor sheeting. So not the end of the world. But this will be the first building, I believe, that I've built that'll be bigger than I need. Usually every time I build something, I wish I had built it larger. So this, in the beginning, was going to be 12 by 8. And like I said, now it's 12 by 18. So it should be a nice storage area for whatever we end up using it for. Obviously, it's going to be garden tools and stuff like that, all our shovels, things of that nature. And then I've built it on the north side. I don't know a lot about greenhouses, but I'll have to do some more research. But anyway, I've built this on the north side. That's to insulate the greenhouse from the north. I'll have a solid wall and a couple things I could do. Like I say, I got to do some more research, but I could put black barrels or whatever against the wall. I could paint the wall black. Just different ways to heat the greenhouse a little bit more. In the summer, I'm guessing this is going to be really hot in the shed, but I'll have to get some windows and stuff to help ventilate that too. Yeah, it'll be a nice big area. That's what we got so far. Don't have much time left. I got to get cleaned up and get in the tree stand. I got about an hour left. So I want to try to hunt for 3 hours tonight. So this is all the wood or lumber I have cut so far for this garden project. I have one wall almost built. I have to do a window in there. So I have to do, I don't know what you call them, shoulder studs or whatever, the ones that go underneath the header, and then everything below the window. And I'm trying to use up, you know, what I can. Even some of these end cuts, like they're half moon shape. I'm gonna need more lumber to stud up this project. So I have all this lumber cut, but it needs to be ripped down to 2x material. And I want to be as efficient with my boards as possible. So the walls on both ends are 6 foot 4 inches, the studs, and then you got the bottom and top plate. So a lot of this is like 8 foot or larger. So I'm going to try to get some, 6x6 boards. And that way I don't have as much waste cuts. So I have quite a bit of lumber there. I just got to rip it down. And I've just been snapping lines with the chalk line and ripping it with my skill saw because it's too difficult to cut with a table saw. It just binds up. with my DeWalt battery powered one, and a buddy of mine has the exact same corded table saw I do, like a 1980s model Craftsman, and his was binding up doing the same exact thing, so I didn't even bother trucking it up here because I don't really have room to store it here for right now. It's been working decent with a skill saw and just ripping it. You just don't get perfectly straight boards, which doesn't matter because it's a garden shed. It always seems to be something. I was building on this and I noticed the corner looked like it was bowed. So I finally took my level, and sure enough, the back corner is probably like 1.25 inches out of level, or maybe an inch, probably a little more, 1.75 inches, out of level in 6 feet. So this corner has dropped or sunk, I guess. I'm not quite sure how. I guess when we put these holes in and put the posts in, these posts, I'll have to check back, but I believe the hole was over 50 inches deep, which frost here I think only gets to like 44 inches. But I don't know if it was really wet or it wasn't compacted in enough and the frost dove deeper. But again, I mean, it hasn't been a sustained cold for very long, but I mean, lately it has been below zero, but it's only been for like not even a week. So I don't know how all that works, but you know, I think we did this in, I want to say August or September. But anyway, it seems like it's just that one corner. So now I don't know what to do. I can't really build on it and then have everything out of whack. So I don't know if I wait till spring or I try to jack that corner up, build it, and then the building itself, if I side it and everything, will keep that corner from sinking, and eventually it'll like pack in and you don't want to naturally stay there. So I don't know exactly what to do, but for right now we're finished. I could still build this wall. I just can't build this wall into this wall because of that curve. You know, this wall's not going to matter. I can still jack it up and move it if this is here. But once I tie all that together, because I was going to balloon frame this, you know, my measurements will all be out of whack. So I think I might get a jack and try to jack it up and level it. And then I can continue building through the winter and then worry about it in the spring, what I'm going to do with that corner. Or like I say, hopefully the building will keep it straight. Who knows? I don't know. I thought I did the right thing. You know, I put them in concrete, not a ton of concrete, but concrete, because you can't get a lot of concrete, a foot diameter hole, and then you have a log that's like 10 inches, so you can't get a ton of concrete in there. But then I let them sit, put gravel around them, not clay or anything. So I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm back on this garden shed, kind of taking a break from the house. There's other putsy stuff I can do in the house, but I just wanted to do something else for a while, I guess. Take a break by working on another project. So, I don't know, I'm frustrated today because just every single project, there's like something wrong with it. Like the sauna, I screwed up on the couple of the walls. Like I've showed in the previous video, so I'm gonna have to redo those. The windows are breaking in the sauna. They're starting to crack. 2 windows now. The door window, which I can see because I didn't really put enough soft foam to make that when the wood contracts and expands and stuff. So I could see that one, but now the window in the actual sauna in the wall, that cracked. So I'm gonna have to replace that. Just more work to be added on. I put some foam in there, but I only put it on the top and bottom, and I didn't put it side to side, if you will. I figured that the wood, if it reaches 160 degrees, 200 degrees, it's shrinking, not expanding. So when I put it in, it wasn't 200 degrees. So like I said, it would only shrink, I would imagine. But anyway, I guess I was wrong on that. This floor is sloped, so I'm gonna have to fix that in the spring, but I kind of keep rolling. I just can't not build on it until spring, because what else do you do in the wintertime? And I gotta just keep on going on these projects if I'm ever gonna have the garden shed done and the greenhouse, stuff like that. But I thought I had this floor dialed in. I put the post, welded something up on my tractor, post hole digger to get down below, well below frost level. Frost level, I believe, is 44 here, and the thing was digging 52 inches. And then I put some concrete in there, and I wouldn't think there would be a heaving problem, but apparently there was, because it turns out 2 of them, I believe, heaved. One went up and one went down. So now my floor, you can't build level. So I'm doing the side walls that don't matter, and then I'm going to put the ridge beam in the middle up, which won't matter. I'll just keep the measurements the same as far as up and down below the ridge beam, and then have to fix it in the spring. But I can't attach all the rafters down, and then I was going to balloon frame on the gable walls, but you can't do that when the walls are going to change, in the spring. So, but at least I'll be ready to do it. My concrete floor in the house cracked, which I hired somebody to do that, and I know concrete cracks, but it's frustrating that I'm in houses, let's say 3 houses a week, because I'm an electrician, and 3 different houses a week, and I see all these floors that are cracked, and of course mine, which is going to be our finished floor, has a crack that went all the way across, and then one went over to the side off of that crack. So I'm not sure why it would crack. I mean, there's 4 inches of foam, and then we got the black dirt organic material out and put gravel in and stuff. I guess I don't understand that enough. But there's like, you can't ask anybody questions like, hey, how do you put a post in a clay soil using a tamarack, and what time of year do you have to do it? Do you have to let it sit? Can you build on it right away? I mean, I guess I could ask somebody that question, but how do you keep a window from breaking in a cordwood sauna? How do you attach a square house to a existing round cabin, So I'm learning as I go, but it's like every damn thing I do, there's something wrong with it. It just doesn't turn out the way you want. And it's getting to me today. So you can see it's sloping. You probably see it on the actual camera that this slopes right about there. You can see it goes down. And it's only about 1.5 inches, but whatever, it's sloping. I don't have enough rough cut lumber also to do all these rafters either, because they're going to be over close to 12 feet long, I believe, from the center down in the end. So, and I can't mill anything longer than 10 feet because that's all that I have for my rail system. So now I have to come up with a different rail system so I can mill up lumber longer than that. And then once you get that together, then you got to find the trees and cut them. And oh my gosh, it's like a month before you can even get the lumber to build the thing. Or you could go to the store and buy it, I guess. But then you can't say you built it yourself. Right, cutting down the tree and all the way to the end. But anyhow, so putting this wall up, I got that leveled up, and now I'm going to use this as my ridge beam. That's 12 feet long, so this is 12 feet here. And then I'm going to go 10 feet high. These are 6'4" studs with 2 and 2. So you got 6'8" to the wall, and then a 10 feet underneath this. And that's about 2 by 10 in the end once I notch this, the bottom out for the whatever you want to call it, the post that's gonna hold it up. But anyway, I'm gonna stick that right in the middle here and then brace it, and then it'll be ready for the rafters once I get them. And I can actually put the rafters on. I just won't secure them at the ends. I'll just secure them on the top, and that way when I go to move this floor in the spring and get it level, everything will be able to move, and then I can just balloon frame underneath the front and back gable walls. So that's the plan. Once I get all this stuff done, I'll be a wealth of knowledge for anybody else who wants to build their homestead from scratch. Because I'll have done a lot of it. What to do and what not to do. So I'm notching this, I don't know, what do you call it, ridge beam. So it has the live edge on the bottom, and then it'll, I assume, even though just the ends are notched to 10, 2 by 10, that because the middle is 12 inches or more, that it'll be stronger than the 2 by 10. And then I'll have that live edge on the bottom, which will look really cool. That side, damn it. I gotta have my wife help me lift that into the center here and then brace it up level. Real good, like triangular brace it. And then I can figure out what I'm gonna do with the rafters. I kind of gauge how long they have to be. And then I think because I don't have the rough cut lumber, I just have this stuff, and it's all like 10 feet or less now. I think what I'm going to do is use tamarack, but I'm sick of putting purlings on the top of round logs like I've done on a bunch of these other buildings, so I'd like to come up with a way to just cut the tamarack flat on one edge, and then I can use all this other rough cut lumber for the purlings, and I don't have to screw around. I'd like to come up with a way to do that anyway for future projects. Probably buy a cheap aluminum ladder, extension ladder. See what half the extension ladder, the length is. I'd like to get something like 14 feet long, and then use that as a rail to cut these tamaracks. Yeah, I know. We're gonna do it. X, forward, and the center mark.